Hi guys, it's the Captain here. And today's video challenge, Avec le Blindfold, is can Rob spot a real Marshall amplifier from a selection of amps that maybe want to be a little Marshall-y. So, the first amp that we've got to choose is the actual Marshall that we're going to put them up against, and I felt that the Jubilee 2555, which is effectively like a souped up JCM 800 with a switchable output mode, is, in my opinion, probably one of my favourite Marshall sounds of all time. So we're going to go with that, and then we're going to choose a selection of amplifiers. Some will be more expensive, some will be cheaper, whatever. We'll throw a curveball in there, and we'll put them all through a Marshall 4x12, switch them between sounds, and Rob has got to blindfold guess which one is the real Marshall. So let's see what we can do. I thought, for you gain freaks out there, that maybe an EL34 loaded 5150 on a mild kind of gainy sound would be a fun one to shoot it out with. I also thought for my first curveball, we might try something small like the Ignator Tweaker. The Tweaker has like a British kind of sound to it and a vintage option as well, so we're going to try that. The super curveball is, as always, I think in these videos, the excellent Boss Katana 100. Then we've got two more. I can't remember what these are now. Two more. We'll do one of the Victory Sheriffs. Haven't decided if we'll do the 22 or the 44 yet. A little bit concerned that the Sheriff is too sort of vintagey Marshall sounding, but we'll see if we can get a souped up gainy sound out of one of those. I probably will go for the 44 because that's the EL34 loaded one. And then the last one, and I'm not going to interrupt the customer because there's a customer using it at the moment, but I'm going to go and wrestle away from him a Friedman Runt, which sounds great, and I think will give Rob a real challenge in trying to spot it. So that is the anniversary. Hang on, we've got the anniversary Marshall, the 5150, the Ignator Tweaker, the Katana 100, the Victory, and the Runt. 6 amplifiers. Can Rob spot the real Marshall?
Now be careful. Now be careful. Go!
That's it. God. No problem.
So I have 2 questions.
Okay.
Question 1. Actually, question 1 of 3. Are the cameras rolling?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What guitar am I playing?
Pete's Gold Top Les Paul, because we thought, to be honest with you, there's no better combination of Gibson and
Les Paul
Marshall.
And Marshall. Okay. Have you balanced the volumes?
Yes. Well, I'm pretty sure we have. But again, I can adjust stuff on the fly if you want me to.
Okay. Bonus question: am I facing the cameras?
You are pretty much facing the cameras, and you've basically got. So here's the information that I am going to tell.
I haven't plugged. Okay.
You have. You're all plugged in. Here's your guitar. Do you need a plectrum as well?
I've got one.
You've got one. Okay, cool.
Prepared.
So that's Pete's Gold Top Les Paul, which we've heard in many, many videos, which you like. The amps are arrayed around me. Now, what the audience may or may not see are...
Wait, I've got a Peter Honore pick to go with my Peter Honore guitar. So wait,
Have you?
Yeah, I've got a
Do you want another one?
No, it's okay. I'm going to use Pete's pick.
So the amps, as you can see around, are in a variety of formats.
I can't see around.
But bottom line is, every single amp has been plugged into this.
Back a bit.
Have been plugged into this Marshall 4x12. So as you see me unplugging stuff and plugging other things in, basically everything's just coming through this. We have also got the excellent radial tone bone to be able to switch between different amps if you sort of go, oh, I can't decide between amp 4 and 5 or whatever. And I am just throwing this out there now. We've realised we really must go and invest in an Ampet amp switcher. So if you're watching Mr. Ampet, expect me to send you an email soon begging for the best price you can make for this one.
That Ampet guy going to blow up because of Kanye.
I've got his email address already.
So, for those of you that would like to participate in this particular blindfold challenge, turn your monitor off now or look away from the screen and play along with Rob by just being able to listen to the sounds.
Oh, God.
But for those of you that aren't bothered, here are the amps that we've chosen and the order that we're going to play them in, starting from here, going to here. And that's basically all you need to know. So, Mr. Rob,
Yar.
your very first amp sound, I believe, is coming
Are they
up.
all a Kemper? It's one of those.
Who
isn't
knows? Who knows? Have we got sound?
It? Probably. Hold on. Sorry.
It might be that I need to press a button. Yeah,
No.
we got sound.
Oh my god.
Woo! So then we're just for you guys there. We've turned these up loud because what we did realise with some of these amplifiers is they really don't do anything unless you turn them up a bit, and there are no pedals. So it's just there's no reverb, no nothing. It's just in the front, bosh. So even though there's loads of pedals on the floor here, none of them are plugged in. Comments, please,
Right,
Monsieur Chappers.
May I play again?
Of course.
I mean, it sounds like a Marshall to me. So
Just going to write that down.
it's a
Sounds
Marshall.
like a Marshall.
What? What are
only
you doing?
I'm only laughing because Pete's laughing. Sounds like a Marshall to me. And for those of you playing along with your blindfolds on, what did it sound like to you? Anyway, here comes the next amplifier in a jiffy.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
Have you put something on my goggles?
No. Just, right.
What?
Oh, you've taken them off and now you've just got bits of blue tack on there. I've got to stick them back on for comedy
What?
value.
Are they eyes?
They might be.
Oh, you stupid.
You just look like some stimulated like or something.
Do they wiggle?
Okay, for those of you playing along with no blindfold or with your blindfolds on, we're about to start amp number 2. And if you are not playing your blindfolds, this is wearing your blindfolds even. This is the amp that we're about to hear now.
We just had a little break so that I could memorise the list of amps they've got again before we do this
Absolutely, yeah.
section. So you'd be glad to know that we're about to play a Kemper.
also, through the power of the switcher, able to jump between the amp you tried first and this amp if it would help.
Well, I had a comment before you do that, and it would help.
Good.
My comment is this one sounds more expensive.
Okay.
It sounds more forgiving. Like there's something... I was actually thinking downstairs for the 4 hours while you prepared this video that I don't know something. And what I don't know is, when you make an amplifier, is the patent on the circuit or the whole product? So, for example, could one of these have exactly the same circuit as a Marshall? Or is it the circuit that they copyright?
Pass. I think it's more it's just logos and the visual look, to be honest with you, because I think if you got into the realms of saying certain, you know, circuit, I think so many amps have copied so many other amps over time. Who's to say that the original Marshalls weren't just rejigged versions of Fenders? You know, I mean, it's just.
Well, they were.
And that's what I'm saying. So
Right, okay.
I actually don't know. Someone in the comments section can say how do you copyright an amp? Is it just like the name and the logo and stuff like that? Yeah. So would you like to jump between?
Previous one? New one? Yeah, this is not a Marshall, and I still think the previous one is. The previous one has more of an authentic fatness to it, and it's less forgiving. And this one sounds like an updated, modern kind of. It's like they've made it more forgiving.
That's good words. So what we'll do is we'll keep the switcher in play.
Yeah, and you're going to go between 2 and 3
Yeah.
now.
So would you? But well, no. Do you want me to go between the one that you still think is the Marshall out the two, or do you want me to just stay with the second amp that we tried, or what do you want me to do?
Oh God, options.
I think we should stay with the one that you think is the Marshall all the way through and just compare it to other ones and see where we get to.
I wouldn't like to do that because I think you're probably tricking me.
Yes. Oh, you would or you wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't like to do that. You know what? Let me just listen to each one in its own merit. I don't want to. I think comparing it will just confuse my issues.
Okay, fine.
So let me each one individually,
and then we'll go back to switching.
I'll tell you which one I think is the Marshall, and we'll compare it to and from. But if we could just get this lovely Les Paul from Gibson guitars tuned, that would be fantastic.
If you're playing along, you don't know what's coming next, and if you're not, it's this one, Mr. Rob. Fire away.
Okay, I'm firing my Gibson. This one is digital.
This one is digital.
I could just hear some kind of compressy, noise gatey thing trying to do something when I let it ring. It's good though. It had me fooled for at least the first 45 seconds. Just in case you didn't get that, that was. Yeah, it's a digital digital lamp. That's what it is. Not a Kemper, because Kemper doesn't do that. So it's a digital lamp that's not a Kemper. So the obvious is a Boss Katana. It's the only one I can think of that's currently relevant.
Well, tee-hiddly-hee, let's move on.
Tee-hiddly-hee.
Here comes the fourth amp whilst I just plug it in. Okay, we are ready now for amp numero cuatro. If you are playing along with your blindfolds on, you won't know what's coming, but if you're not participating in that, this is the amplifier that Robert is about to hear.
Wow, that's angry, huh? Sounds like it really wants to go, but you've pulled it way back to make it fall in line with whatever the real Marshall is. This is not a real Marshall. It's too plasticky, but I think that might be because it's been dialed back. Do you know what I mean? Like it's either not got enough gain in it, or the sorry. What I mean is, it sounds like when a gain knob is really far back and it wants to be just nudged a bit forward. Could I have just a little bit more gain?
Of course you can. God, it's good to have you back, Rob. Here we go. Right, I'm just taking the gain up a notch. Go.
Yeah, I don't dislike it. It's not a Marshall. It's something way more. It's got a lot more in it, like gain, like preamp valves.
Okay.
They sound like EC C83s or whatever.
Right. Interesting. Very interesting to see how this is panning out. You sure you don't want to do any? You're just going to crack on, are we? Just to the next one.
Oh, was that a clue?
Or was it? Okay, right. Next one.
Next.
Okay, cookies. Right.
Cookie.
Okay, so amp number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for those of you cheating and looking at the board, is this one. And Rob, it should be available for you to take away. Now, this is the penultimate one, by the way. There's just one
Lee.
more to go after this.
One more to go.
One more.
I quite like this. I also don't think I've really played this amp before. It's thick.
Thick?
It's thick. Thick like a boogie. not Marshall.
Okay.
Oh, I haven't got a clue what it is.
Not a Marshall. Haven't a clue.
I mean, that could literally be anything. It doesn't seem to have. I mean, I don't think I've heard this amp before. It doesn't seem to have like a defined thing about it. Right, we go. Oh, that's one of those. I felt it was a little bit boogie-ish, but I don't think it's a boogie.
Okay.
It's too brittle to be a boogie.
Hang on.
It's nice though.
Okay, stop now. Too brittle to be a boogie. Nice. Nice though. The saver at the end there, just in case. Okay. Well, you still, okay, of your, I don't want to put words in your head, but do you want to just tell me which one so far you still think is the Marshall?
I mean, all along I've thought 1, but then the problem was number 2 I really liked, and I'm going to have to hear 1 and 2 again. Is that the last one?
No, we've got one more to go. I was just saying, so, okay,
God.
fine.
This is really hard, by the way. If anyone's watching this thinking, oh, this will be really easy.
This will be really easy.
It's probably one of the hardest challenges I have yet undertaken.
Really?
Yeah.
And the grand finale, the finalement, the derriere one, that's probably the wrong word, dernier? Dernier, whichever one, is, for those of you not wearing your blindfolds, this one here. Mr. Roberts, please strum away on the last, is it or isn't it a Marshall amp?
Good God almighty. That's a lot of low end. It's a victory. It's absolutely got Martin Kidd's face written all over it.
I'm just drawing a smiley face. I'm trying to draw Martin Kidd's face.
Make sure you draw a beard on it.
Okay, here we go.
It's got that thick, it's Marshall-y, but it's such a familiar feel to me.
I think it looks more like a chicken than Martin Kidd, but there we go.
In which case, I'm going to say this is the Sheriff.
Wow. Well, there we go. That's our 5 amps. So, do you need to compare or do any switching, or are you just going to?
Yeah. Let me hear number 1.
Number 1
against number 2.
Number 1 against number 2 will require some rewiring. Okay, so this is amp number 1.
The other one? Other one? I just tried to turn your scratch plate off. That was really funny. So, I think the very first amp I played is a Marshall. I think the others are not. And the one I said was a digital one, I think, is what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
How would you, sir? Let me just stand by all these. Stand by.
Stand by me. Stand by's a lie, Lee.
And Rob, please reveal yourself by taking your blindfold off and putting your glasses back on.
I actually don't have my glasses. So.
Okay.
No, that's all right. Peter put them here.
And
wait, hold on. Before I look at anything else.
so I'm not going to tell you the order in which I plugged any of these in. He says, quickly throwing things out. Do you want to see the amps that you had? So this was the Marshall amp. This was the real one that at some point during the 5 amps you tried. 6 amps.
Man, I've never even really spent any time with that. But I guess it's a modded.
It's like a
800.
Yeah, it is. Then we had a Sheriff 44.
There's nothing digital.
We had a Friedman Runt. We had a Boss Katana 100 over here. We had an EVH 5150 with an EL34 loaded one. And we had an Egnator Tweaker 40. And your comments were as follows. So the first amp we tried was indeed the Marshall. We thought we'd throw you off the scent by putting that one in first. And you just went, sounds like a Marshall to me.
Well, I mean, to be honest, they all sound a bit like a Marshall. That was probably a lucky guess.
And you stuck to your guns pretty much all the way through with saying that. The second one we tried was the Runt 50 by Friedman. You went, sounds more expensive and more forgiving. Not a Marshall, updated and modern.
Right, which I suppose is pretty accurate.
Yeah, it is. Then you said Boss Katana 100. This one is digital.
The Boss Katana sounded good.
I know.
But you could hear it going...
I know, and we all looked at each other and went, we don't think we can turn the noise gate off unless we get the computer out.
No, it's built into the...
You can't turn it off.
Programming, yeah.
I don't know if you can or can't. Some people will tell me. But unfortunately, that was annoying because it did mean that it was pretty obvious.
And also, when you touch the strings, that immediate tactile sound sounds digital.
Yeah.
They can't... I don't think you can model that or program that into a robot.
Anyway, but you did, in fairness, you said it's not a Kemper, it's a Boss Katana. The 5150 was great.
Well, only because the Kemper doesn't do that.
Right. The 5150, you went, it sounds like it really wants to go, but we've dialed it back. And that was interesting because when Rabir and I set this up, we struggled to get it to sound anything like the Marshall unless we put it on its lowest gain setting.
Right. And you can hear it. You can hear it going, oh, come on.
Yeah. So that was that one, which was, so you correctly said it's not a Marshall.
Funny.
The Egnator.
The Egnator's the one I thought sounded like a boogie.
Yeah, so you said and that's quite good because I think the Egnator, apart from the Katana, is the cheapest one here. So you went, it's thick like a boogie, not a Marshall, haven't a clue, no defined thing.
As in, I've never really played through an Egnator before.
I totally agree. The one thing, I guess, the Egnator, particularly the Tweaker is just designed to be able to replicate a lot of different things, but it doesn't necessarily have its own
voice
thing.
Yeah,
so I agree. Too brittle to be a boogie, nice though. And then lastly, within 3 seconds, which I was surprised because we thought we'd got the victory.
Wait, is that a picture of me or Martin Kidd? I can't tell.
You went, it's a victory, it's got Martin Kidd's face all over it. So I tried to draw Martin Kidd's face, but ended up drawing a chicken.
This is the first time I'm really surprised.
That
I've done quite... I think I've done quite well.
Well, you've done very well.
Because I honestly was flying blind, literally. And honestly, the only one that sounded like a Marshall was the Marshall. The others all sounded like...
hot-rodded Marshalls.
Yeah.
Or just
different.
different.
The EVH, nothing like a Marshall.
Yeah.
Didn't sound anything like a Marshall. The closest to that Marshall was the Friedman. Mm-hmm. But it was forgiving.
Yeah.
So... now I'm excited for you to do the same thing with Fenders.
Which we shall.
Which will be much harder.
So if my erstwhile camera colleagues would just do a sweep over each amplifier so you can see the exact settings that we had them on, no problem at all. Yes, perhaps, I don't know, maybe even Rory, if he's got time, would just chop the 6 bits of audio kind of so they just go bap, 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 so people at the end can really hear back to back what they all sounded like.
Does that mean that all remains there to say is that I'm Rob Chapman?
And I'm the captain. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching the Andertons Guitar YouTube channel. If you're a drummer or a keyboard player or interested in music technology, you might find one of our other channels interesting, and I'll put details of those in the description below. If you want to find out more about the products we've just featured, please click here. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt like this, please click here. If you want to watch another video on our guitar channel, click down here. And to subscribe to our guitar channel, click here. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.